Okay, so I wanted to. Clearly, I have a face mask on right now. I just got out of the shower. Um, but I wanted to make a video about something that I realized today, which was um, the way in which my parents raised me. Because it's no secret, like, my parents, like, they were teens when they had me. They were babies raising a baby. And along with that came a lot of pros and a lot of cons. But I want to focus on the pros because the one thing that just kind of struck me today was that my parents always treated me like a human being and like a person before their child. And I feel like that's something that I don't see a lot of parents doing with their kids, and I honestly think it's gonna fuck them up a little bit in the end. Or it might just take them a little bit longer to grow, because the thing is like, I'm not a parent, I can't speak, but I do know what it's like having to raise a parent, if that makes any sense. There was just definitely like a role reversal, the parentified child, all that shit. I probably talked about it before, but like, one thing, I just like, there's no mutual respect, and it's really weird because it's like a parent can scream and get in their child's face, but the child is expected to sit there and take it. And that's not how the world works. If you're being yelled at by somebody, regardless of who the fuck they are, you fight back. I mean, like, that is what I grew up with. That is, you don't let somebody do that to you. And if, I never, like, really started fighting with my mom up until I was, like, 16. And honestly, it spiraled because of a relationship. But, you know, my mom, it's weird because it's like with her specifically, she's told me, she was like, I'm really proud of you for always having a voice, and I'm really proud of you, for sticking up for what you believe in. And she told me, she was like, when you yell back at me, when we're in an argument, this isn't just like I'm yelling at my mom to be a dick. It's like if we're going back and forth with each other, she told me, and it stuck with me one day. She was like, I raised you to be like that. I didn't raise no bitch like that. But she raised me to fight back when something wasn't right. And even if she was necessarily right, in my mind, I was. And she told me, I can't be mad at you for that, because that's exactly what I did, and that's exactly what I would want you to do. And then today, my dad, he told me, he was like, all right, I'm going to be out all day tomorrow, just want to let you know. And it was just like, it was one of those things where I felt like, oh my god, I'm out of my body. And, like, I have a separate life from my father. Like, we all have separate lives from our parents, and that's a really weird thing to kind of take into perspective. Is my life in itself, of course, it's, compiled of a bunch of different things, a bunch of different people experiences, but so is his. Like, I wasn't there for a pretty long part of his life, and he's all I ever knew. Maybe this was one of those things that I'm just rambling about, but I think, like, it's really important to, God, I can't even, it's not like you can show your parents this and be like, Zoe says you have to treat me like a person. I just think that it's something to think about, because it's not something that everybody is lucky enough to experience. And I'm very grateful for the fact that I didn't really have a dominance-based relationship with my parents, because I think that would have fucked me over in the end. And that there was always a mutual respect when I, like, did something wrong, or, I don't know. I just feel like it's something that needs to be verbalized. Because when you have fights with your parents, it's like, adults are nothing but big kids. This is their first time parenting, even if they have 2, 3, 4, 5 children. It is their first time parenting you, because they have to take into consider a different because none of their children are going to be the same. So it is their first time parenting for every child. Of course, you pick up some, tricks along the way, but things are worked differently. And when you're screaming in your kid's face and, you could be saying some real fucked up shit to them, or if you're hitting them, you're setting an example. You're taking out your frustration on a child that's learning, regardless of if they're 4, if they're 14, if they're 46. Like that, it affects you. It really, really affects you, and I don't think that that's something that needs to be downsized. And I think that it needs to be spoken about, because I feel like it kind of parallels with you in the real world. Just meaning, like, in terms of when you're working, or if it's a daily activity that you're doing, and maybe your boss is, like, just shitting on you, but you've been raised to just take it because they're the authority. No, you don't let somebody treat that like you, regardless if it's your parent, if it's your boss, if it's anything. Like, I mean, I know for damn sure if my boss is disrespectful to me time after time again, because obviously one time it happens, 2 times it happens, people slip up. But when you start recognizing a pattern, it's up to you to make the decision of, am I going to deal with this? And am I just going to take it? Am I going to let somebody treat me like this? Or, you know what? I got better places to do. I got better places to be. Like, I would quit a job. I would quit my job if Ken was ever, like, treated me like a dog. Because that's not going to fly. And I think that a lot of that mindset comes from the way that my parents raised me. I think my dad kind of showed me the idea of a separate life, being that I have a life with the both of them, and I also have a life of my own, and he has a life of his own. And my mom kind of showed me mutual respect and a mutual understanding and empathy, and a strong mind and a voice to go along with that. And they just raised me to not really give a shit about, what other people say, what other people think, all that jazz. Like, you always hear that. But honestly, you can do whatever the fuck you want at the end of the day. Like, it's your life. If somebody's gonna judge you, cool, go them. You're doing you, and that's all you, I'm, like, going on and off between what I wanted to talk about and, like, rambling. But I think with the dynamics of your relationship with your parents kind of coincides with how you're going to be in dominance-based relationships for the rest of your life, when it comes to, like, when you have a boss, or if you have a friend that's overpowering. If you're in a relationship, that's a big one. If you're in a relationship and you're just used to always succumbing to people that are yelling at you or being negative to you, you have to practice that willpower, and you have to practice that courage. And why aren't we starting now? Why is that so shit on now and deemed disrespectful on a child's end when a parent is being just as bad to them? They're big kids. Parents are big kids. Adults are big kids. Honestly, you never grow up. You mature, but you never really grow up. Because every year, every single day, they bring something new. It's a new challenge. It's a new learning experience. No day will ever be exactly the same. Every day is going to be different, and that's never really going to change, regardless of how old you are. So that is still happening with your parents. That is still happening with every adult that you come across. They're still learning. They're still living their life. They still have the same thoughts and questions that you have now at this age. And you gotta think about that sometimes. I mean, they do too. This is just, like, food for thought. But yeah, sum everything up. If your parents are yelling at you, just breathe and be like, alright, bud, and just go with it, because I know that there are a lot of parents that, wouldn't really take the whole yelling back thing. But this is just for you to keep in the back of your head that you're not crazy, that you are valid, you're a person, you're not just a child, and for somebody to like kind of stoop you down to that, it's just, they know that they're wrong and they know that they're acting out and they just want to make it seem like you deserve it when you really don't. So I just wanted to make that clear and hope everybody had a wonderful day. Happy October 1st. Very spooky outside. I had like one lit ass a day. It was so much fun. And I'm excited to see what is to come for the future. So have a lovely night.